So welcome along to Ask Ajarn Ken, and this is episode number 3. I've not done a podcast for a little while, and normally what I do is on my Instagram account, Get English Tips, what we'll do is we'll put up a story and ask people to ask me questions. And I haven't done it for a long time, so this is the first time we've done it for a month or so. And so we'll fire away. We've got lots to get through, lots of different questions, some really interesting questions that we'll go through. I'll repeat what the person said to me, and then I'll try and explain it as much as I can. For those that don't know, my name's Ken, and I have an Instagram account called Get English Tips. And I've been an English teacher for, my goodness, since 2008. And I've taught all around the world. I've taught thousands of students all around the world. The most recent, I spent about 10 years in Thailand, and I was teaching university graduates how to get jobs or how to prepare for interviews with the airlines all around the world. And I've successfully helped, hundreds of students get jobs at the main airlines like Qatar, Emirates, and local airlines in Asia as well, Thai Air Asia, etc. So let's have a look at the first question that we've asked on Ask Ajarn Ken episode number 3. The first one is, what form to use after using you will or she will, etc. So I guess the question's asking, what comes after the modal verb will? What's the structure for it? So when we have a sentence, the structure will be the subject plus will plus the bare infinitive. So for example, we can say, I will go, she will speak, we will learn English, for example. So always after the modal verbs, like will, for example, we will always have the bare infinitive, and that's for a sentence. If it's a question, we will have will plus the subject plus the bare infinitive. So for example, it will be, will you go this evening? For example, will you ask her tomorrow? So for sentences, we have subject plus will plus bare infinitive, I will go. And for questions, it will be will plus subject plus bare infinitive. Will you go? And obviously with the negative, will becomes won't. I won't go. I will not go. I won't go. So in answer to the question, what form to use after using will, it's always going to be the bare infinitive. So I hope that's answered your question for you, and you can use it, in your everyday English. These things, when you're learning a language, to some people they may sound easy, and to others, it's a big stumbling block to improving with your English. So it's always good to answer these questions, So here's another one from Hungry Cash on Instagram. How to make sentences short and crisp. Short and crisp. Crisp, I guess, means direct. How to make sentences short and direct. It's a really good question, And one thing when I'm teaching students is English, I say to my students, English has a kind of rhythm to it, It's not like French where it's all kind of monotonous, if you like, I love the French language, but it's French, I always feel it's always in the kind of one tone, whereas English is very expressive in the languages. I always speak to my students and I say to them, listen to an English speaker and how they actually speak, not the words, but the intonations behind it. And one thing that they always seem to pick up is when we speak in English, we will speak in syllables. So as a native speaker, I may be speaking maybe 6 or 7 syllables, and then I'll pause a little bit. So I'll speak like what time will you come? I'm going home tomorrow. So we've got maybe 6 or 7 syllables that a native speaker might use. when you're learning, always try and say to my students, keep it down to maybe 4 or maybe 5 syllables and then pause. Don't try and speak and put everything into the sentence. Try and make it, like a little bit of a sing-song. Pause. Pause. You'll find that if you listen to English people, this is how they speak, So it's always an answer to the question, how to make sentences short and crisp. Just be very direct. And when you're speaking those sentences, just remember the rhythm in English. And that will help you to speak short sentences that are very crisp and very direct. Remember the tune? Oi. Good one, huh? So try that. Yeah, try when you're listening to, to anyone speaking in English, you won't hear them speak very, very fast. I know when I went to live in Spain, I listened to Spanish for the first time, and it was very, very fast, and it felt like it was one sentence. But in English, it's not. It's pause. So it's very slow, not slow, but it's very rhythmic when we speak. So try and see, listen to the next time and see what you think and let me know. So what we've got, I'm a student and I have a presentation tomorrow. Can you give me some advice, please? Presentation. When I love presentations, and I remember when I first started teaching in a classroom, I would always get really, really nervous when I went into the classroom, because I thought, what happens if I can't speak properly, etc. Or I get something wrong, or I can't remember where I was when I'm speaking. But before I became an English teacher, I actually worked in finance, and I had to do lots of presentations up on stage in front of investors, etc. And one thing that I always remember, the one thing that got me through everything was always be prepared. Even someone who looks like they're just thinking off the top of their head and then giving a presentation, it looks very easy. They have put in so much preparation into that presentation, to the point where they could close their eyes and they don't need to read anything, it automatically comes out. So the first thing about presentation is you always have to practice. Always practice until you are very, very comfortable and you are very, very confident with what you're saying. It's like I guess it's like an actor when they have to learn their lines. They have to learn their lines, and then they have to present those lines to make it realistic and make people believe them. And this is the same with giving any type of presentation. You have to learn and be confident enough that you've learned enough so that if anything happens, you can always come back to this script. You can't just think, I'll do it and I'll be okay. You always have to prepare, always. Even if you look at sportsmen like, Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or Neymar or whoever, really, really good football players, you see them playing a game, but all during the week, they are practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing all the time. It's the same as anything in life. You have to practice to be successful and be good. So the number one thing, if you have a presentation, is to know and to practice what you are going to say. Even though it might be boring and you've said it 100 times, 101 times, keep going. The second one is, and this is something that I've learned, is when you're giving a presentation, just remember that your audience is on your side. They want you to succeed. They want you to be successful. They want to hear how good your English is. So, even though you don't feel that confident, they will want you to succeed. So imagine them. Imagine you're in front of someone and they're giving a presentation. How do you feel about them? You want them to succeed, right? It's exactly the same. If you're up there, you're speaking, and they can see that you're trying hard, They will be on your side and they will give you the positive energy to do that. So that's it. 2 things. Prepare, and your audience are on your side. Your audience are your friends. So have no fear. The more you do it, the better you become. Practice makes perfect. So what have we got? We've got Sunshine 31. How to use prior. P-R-I-O-R. Prior. Prior. So prior is an adjective and it means before. So we can put it before a noun. For example, I'm sorry, I'm late. I had a prior meeting or a prior engagement. This means I had a meeting before I came here. So this is why I'm late. My prior appointment, the appointment before, this is where we use prior to show that the meeting or the situation happened before this one. It's very, very similar to previous. Both of them are kind of interchangeable, previous and prior. Just we put it before a noun to show something before. We can also use it with an ing or with something, and we can say prior to something, prior to ing. Prior to coming here, I was at my friend's house. Prior to meeting you, I saw an accident. Something like that. When we've got prior, we can use it before a noun, or we can use it prior to verb ing. This will be a gerund. So prior to something. Prior to these holidays, I went to Spain, for example. So prior, we can use it before a noun, like a meeting or a situation. Prior to this situation, I did that. Okay. So, and again, we can interchange it with the word previous. So prior plus noun, or prior to something, or prior to verb ing. This is how we use it. Prior to. Really good word to use, for intermediate students who are learning English. Really good one to use. What have we got else? We've got explain, beyond and behind. Beyond and behind. So beyond. Beyond is like a point. If you can imagine a situation in front of you. Beyond goes further than that situation. Okay, so beyond something means further ahead of a specific situation. For example, beyond the hill, there is another village. Beyond the garden gate, there is a road. So beyond means in advance or further in front of a specific point. Beyond the end of the year, in front of the end of the year, further ahead of it. So that's what beyond means. Further ahead, further in advance of a specific point. And behind is the opposite. Behind means at the back of. So for example, behind my house, there is a garden, for example. Behind the supermarket, there is a newsagent shop, for example. Behind my car is another car. So we have behind means at the back of a specific point, and beyond means in front of a specific point. So the year behind at the back of me, the year beyond this in front of me. So I hope that's clear that, yeah? Beyond means in front and behind means at the back. Here's one. Serira libera. Serira libera. What's the difference between creeps and goosebumps? Creeps and goosebumps. Oh, you give me the creeps. Good one to use. Creeps, I guess, is like a feeling that you feel very, very uneasy. You don't feel something good is happening. In fact, it's very, very scary perhaps. You feel very, very uncomfortable. Watching that horror movie gave me the creeps, gave me a bad, bad feeling. You know, I saw a man looking at me the other day, or I saw someone looking at me the other day, and it made me feel very, very uneasy. It gave me the creeps. So the creeps is like a feeling you get of being uneasy or not comfortable and perhaps a little bit scared. Goosebumps, on the other hand, is, you know, on your arm, the little hairs on your arm. When you get cold, the hairs stand up, right? Goosebumps is like that. It gives you, you can see the feeling of perhaps being excited or scared. It's giving you a high of being scared or a high of being, you know, excited, and the little hairs on your arm goes up. These are goosebumps. Makes you shiver, etc. So we can use it, goosebumps, you know, for something positive or negative, and you can feel your arm hairs going up. And the creeps is mostly a very, very scary feeling, or an unhappy feeling, or a non-comfortable feeling, you know. I didn't enjoy it. I felt a little bit scared. I wasn't happy with it at all. They scared me a little bit. This would be the creeps. A little bit different from goosebumps. So next one, Adar Kurdi, number 1. What's the difference between desert and leave? Desert. So you know desert has a couple of different meanings, yeah? We've got dessert, the food, you know, after your main course. We've got the desert, a little bit different pronunciation. The desert is the area of sand, like the Sahara Desert. And also dessert, like the first pronunciation, desert, is to leave somewhere without permission. Like most commonly used in like the army, when a soldier decides to leave and not tell anyone, he would desert the army. So desert is like to leave without permission, I guess. Maybe you've got a contract to be there, but you decide to go and not tell anyone. This would be to desert. And to leave is just general, to go away. Maybe you've got permission, maybe not, but you've decided to go. Desert is when you go but you don't tell anyone. So that would be the main difference between them. A kind of soldier would leave his position and not tell anyone. He would desert his post. I decide to leave my job, tell my boss I'm leaving, and then I go. Or maybe I don't tell them, I just leave. So desert is specifically for like a contract that you've decided to, you know, you've decided to leave without telling someone, or leave without permission. This would be desert. And leave would just be to go. Oh, same person. What's the difference between pummel and punch? You know, when you hit someone with your fist, like this would be a punch, right? So a punch, I guess, is moving your hand into someone else's body, or to a table, or to my face or something. So a punch is one hand. A pummel would be many, many punches together. So a punch is one, and a pummel is really beating someone. This would be a pummel. Somebody took a pummeling. They really got beat. We can also use pummel, you know, when somebody loses in sports very, very heavily. They would be known to be pummeled because they got beat very convincingly. So punch, just one, and pummel is many, many punches to really, really beat someone. This would be a pummel. Good enough, good one. Here's one from Yasin Ahmed 20. What's the meaning of pansexual? Pansexual. It's one of these new words that have actually came out, pansexual. And I guess it means that you are attracted to someone because of their personality. It doesn't matter if they're a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. It doesn't matter their age. It doesn't matter, their race or their religion. You want to be with someone because you find their personality attractive. For example, if you are what's the word I'm looking for? If you are homosexual, then you like the person from the same sex, yeah, or the same gender. If you're bisexual, you like people from, either male or female. But pansexual means that you like anybody as long as you like their personality. There's no restriction on them. So that's what it means. One of these new words, in the West, there's a lot of people that are now saying they're not male or female. They're saying that they are, pansexual, or they're saying that they're not male or female. It's difficult to explain, but this would be them, pansexual. They are attracted to someone just because of their personality. Doesn't matter if they're male or female. Doesn't matter, who they are. The fact is that they like their personality, and this would be pansexual. Okay, P-A-N, pansexual. Here's one from Alan, 123R. Drag someone's ass somewhere and set something aside. What's the meaning, please? Drag someone's ass. So the first one, drag someone's ass. This means to take someone to go somewhere. The other person, I guess, is not happy to do it. They don't want to do it. So you have to pull them, and get them to go to wherever it is that they want to go. They're not happy about it. They don't want to go. So we say, I'm going to have to drag your ass there. Maybe you're lying in bed and your parents come in, get up out of bed. I don't want to. They would drag your ass out of bed. You don't want to do something, but they make you do it. This would be drag your ass. And set something aside means to leave something for later. So for example, I'm doing my work and someone needs, some help, and I can say to them, I'll put this, what I'm doing, I'll set it aside, I will do it later, and I will come and help you. So to set something aside means to stop doing it, put it to the side, I guess, and then you will resume or you will collect it later. Okay, so what else can we say? Maybe we're cooking and we've done the first part. We have to set that aside, put it away for a few moments, and then come back to it later after we've finished doing the second part. So this would be to set something aside. Maybe you're doing something and your friend, needs your help, and whatever it is you have, you can set some money aside. For example, maybe they want some money, they're broke, they're skint, they need money. So you can say, I've set some money aside, I've put it aside for you to collect later. So to set something aside, to leave it until later. So that's the two of them. Drag someone's ass, remember, to make them do something that they are not happy to do. Great. So which is correct? A, this is from Instant Genius. Hello, Instant Genius. So which is correct? A, it gets increasing, or B, it is getting increased? Let me think. A is definitely not. It gets increasing. Definitely not. B, it is getting increased. We can use that. My salary, it is getting increased next year, for example. It's getting increased soon. Something is getting bigger soon. What else can we, I was thought of this earlier and I thought, what else can we use it for? It's getting increased. It is It gets increased. That's it. It gets increased, which would be the present tense. It gets increased. Each year my salary gets increased, for example, or it is getting increased now, or with a future meaning. So yeah, that's a long answer to it, which is correct. The answer is it is getting increased or it gets increased. That's the two ones that are correct. So, what else have we got? Oh, someone's a bit worried here. They're saying, this is Sonia. I have worked in various outsourcing companies handling UK, US and Canada, and I have an understandable accent. I am from India. What can I do or say to disrespectful people shaming me? You know something, I've been in about 50 countries in the world, and I've learned to speak a few languages, and I've never actually felt this, that people will shame me for learning other languages. But I know that the students I've been teaching, those people are, those friends of theirs, will sometimes make fun of them for speaking a new language. It's quite difficult, isn't it? It's like anything else. If people are trying to shame you, you're actually learning a language. You're actually doing something that a lot of people cannot do. A lot of people find it difficult to speak a language. If anyone's shaming you, it's because they cannot do it. Most of the time, the people cannot do it. And if they can do it, and they are nice people, they wouldn't be shaming you. Correct? So if people are shaming you, it'll mean that they can't do it. So they are jealous that you can speak English and perhaps they cannot. It's ridiculous. Haters are always going to hate, and I don't like it. So what can you say to them? You can say to them, look, how many languages do you speak? Maybe they cannot speak another language. I heard the joke once. English people are, a lot of English people will do it. If one of their own are speaking French or Spanish or whatever, they will start making fun of them, And there's a joke that I heard, and it was, what do you call someone who can speak two languages? Bilingual. What do you call someone who can speak one language? English. Because English people will generally only speak one language. So don't worry, if people are, I know it's difficult, but if people are making you feel bad about speaking a new language, it's easy to say ignore them, but just remember that you are above them in terms of language, because you can speak a second language. Perhaps they cannot speak a second language. And if they can, maybe they're jealous that you speak it better. Or if they speak it great and they're shaming you, shame on them for doing that, because they know how difficult it is to speak or to learn another language. So that would be my advice to you if you feel like that. Number one, just remember you speak a language and they don't. If they speak a language, they are jealous of you. Or if they're above you in terms of language, they're not nice people, and their comments shouldn't worry you. If it is someone else, maybe in the UK or in Canada or US, if they're doing it, ask them, how many languages do you speak? Be upfront with them and say to them, look, tell me, what am I doing wrong? How many languages do you speak? Most of the time, if they're from an English-speaking country, they will only speak one language. Most people will. So this is where you have to be a little bit assertive. Ask them what their problem is. How many languages do you speak? So that would be my advice to you, I guess. And I hope that helps. Let me know how you get on with that, and if it helps you. Good luck with it, Sonia. So many questions. This is from Mishiawan. So many questions, but anyway or anyways, which one is correct? Anyway or anyways? The correct one is anyway, not anyways. No S. Anyway. Anyway is the correct one. Always. Anyway. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. Always. Always correct. Anyway. So what else have we got here? How to be... There's a lot of questions about how to become a fluent English speaker. So this is the number one question, I guess. How to be a fluent English speaker. Okay, I'll ask you a question. If I'm learning your language, what would you say to me to be a fluent speaker? What would you say? What should I need to do to become fluent in your language? What do I need to do? That is your answer, I guess. But from me as a teacher, and of course I've learned a few languages and I've taught students, the number one thing to be fluent is to practice. I'll give you some tips on what I used to do to be fluent in, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but to improve my standard of Spanish. I would get the newspaper in the morning and I would speak. I would read the newspaper and I would speak it just for 15 minutes. And I know some of the vocabulary I didn't understand. I know I was pronouncing it wrong. But you know what? 15 minutes a day from blah, 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 me llamo Ken, yo tengo, and I would speak Spanish. And within a month, I was able to pick up the telephone to someone at my work and speak in Spanish to them. I just felt by practicing every day, by speaking every day, I began to understand more and more. And, I would listen to the radio or the television and I would start to hear words and sentences and structures. And this, by speaking, I began to hear what I was saying into the newspaper. I would begin to see vocabulary. That's how you say it. So that's the structure for that. So I would begin to understand more and more and more and more. So the number one thing to be fluent is go to an English-speaking country. If you can't do that, speak to English-speaking people. If you cannot do that, speak to yourself. Get a book or a magazine or an article or a blog or something you enjoy and then just read. Blah, 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 blah. Read it aloud and speak for 15 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's correct or not. The more you practice, the more correct you will become. Your brain will start picking up vocabulary, structures, grammar, etc. And you will improve that way. So take time, 15 minutes every day, and practice speaking. And you will 100% definitely improve. Maybe not. And again, to become fluent. Fluency is obviously the goal. This is what you want to achieve. But that takes a long time to do and lots of practice. To be really, really good at something, you need to practice maybe, I guess they say 10,000 hours. So it'll take you a long time to practice. I see like football players and, non-English speaking people come to my country and I see them on television or in sports, etc. And they've maybe been here for many, many years, but they still have their own accent, their own foreign accent, and they, prepositions they still cannot get. It doesn't matter because they are communicating effectively. That's the most important thing to aim for, to communicate effectively. And then you can move on to being more smooth and fluent. So how long have we got left? Let's have a look at number one. One more. The use of through. The use of through. T-H-R-O-U-G-H. Through. It's got the same sound as to throw something, yeah? The past tense of throw. Through means to go from one place to another. Either physically, For example, to get from here to there, you have to go through the town centre. So this would be physically. Or it could be an abstract. You know, I went through some difficult times. So to get from one place to another, either physically or, you know, abstractly, this would be through. To get from one place to another. That's the middle part. You go through the middle part. To get from being sad to happy, I went through some difficult times. To get from here to there, you have to go through the small village. To get from the front of the house to the back, you have to go through the house. So that's what through means, to get from one place to the next. Through. So, we'll try and squeeze one more in. How to be fluent, how to use rain check in a question. Rain check. Rain check's like, I guess it's a very, very American expression, rain check. And it just means, can we take a pause for something, or I don't want to do something. So, for example, someone invites you out for dinner, or someone invites you to do something, and you can say, I think I'll take a rain check, which means I don't want to do that. I won't do it. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's, I'm going to check if it's raining or something. So that's what it means, so to not do something. So to use it in a question would be, do you want to take a rain check? Are you taking a rain check? Do you want to go to the cinema, or are you taking a rain check? So this is how we would use it in a question. We're going to the restaurant. Are you coming, or are you taking a rain check? So are you taking a rain check would be the question structure for that. Rain check. Good one to use. So that's the end of Ask Ajarn Ken, podcast number 3. Sorry, it's been a while. I'm going to try and get more podcasts in for you over the next little while as well, because there's got so many questions that really need answering from here. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's answered some of your questions, and feel free to follow me on Instagram, Get English Tips, and ask me questions there. You can also get me on email at hello@ajarnken, and watch out for my new website, gab2.com, GABTOO.com. Gab means to talk, to means also, so I'm also talking. Gab2.com, and I'll see you there. So, my name's Ken. Bye for now.